Hello and welcome to Cecil.tv. I'm your host, Rob Chirnside. Tonight we have with us Amy Baumgardner, author who wrote in collaboration with her husband, Matt, a book called From This Day Forward. Amy, welcome to Cecil.tv.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us, and tell us a little bit about your book. I'm going to hold this book up so viewers can see.
So the book is titled From This Day Forward, and it's a love story of faith, hope, and forgiveness. And it is I collaborated, like you said, with my husband, Matt, and it's alternating chapters of our story through addiction. I am in recovery. I'm a recovering alcoholic, 7 years, March 1st.
Way to go.
And thank you. And really what this book meant for us is a way for us to share our story, is a way for us to get the message out there, and is a way for me as a woman to share with other women who might be sick and struggling with an addiction of any kind. It doesn't have to be alcoholism. It can really be any kind of an addiction, that there is hope. That's one of the main reasons we put the word faith, hope, and forgiveness, and that you can forgive yourself and you can learn to move forward, even in addiction.
Yes, yes, and I read the book.
Thanks.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I kept it by my Nordic track, so I would alternatingly read an Amy chapter and then a Matt chapter, and it was fascinating, and it really helped me see what was going on in your lives and how you put it back together. It's been, you had a horrible accident, right?
We did. I did. So the book was designed to be alternating because we really wanted to capture what it's like as a couple going through addiction. After it was January 10th of 2010, and I had a drunk driving accident with my two older children in the car, blacked out behind the wheel going 60, and I hit a tree. My middle child, Madison, who is here in the studio tonight, she was injured in the accident. She suffered a level 4 lacerated liver. And it wasn't until I went to rehab, a drug and alcohol rehabilitation, and I spent 21 days in that drug and alcohol center, and it wasn't until I came out did I really understand what it was I had done. Did I really kind of get that, oh God, what have I done moment? Because I had her staring me right in the face. So the book started from that day. And it really was from this day forward. Like, how am I ever going to forgive myself as a mother? How am I ever going to accept this awesome responsibility of what I had just done to another human being, let alone my children? And how can a family mend? And how can my heart heal? So it was through faith, through hope, and through forgiveness that we all healed as a family. And this is the whole journey of me, it's my side, and then it's Matt's side, and you really kind of are rooting for me a little bit, and then you get into some of the chapters and you're like, I can't believe she did that. And then towards the end, you're kind of like hooting and hollering to yourself like, oh, I'm so glad that you made it through. But it's all the struggles that go along. Self-doubt, self-criticism, it's the self-loathing, it's the I'm never going to be able to make it. How can I ever not have another drink again? It's all of those things that go along with recovery. And
where does it start? I mean, where does recovery start?
So recovery for me, and it's different for everybody, but recovery for me is you have to hit a rock bottom, and who knows what that really is. And mine was, not being able to forgive myself and the guilt for injuring my children. And it started with acceptance. I had to just get real, and I had to be honest with myself, and I had to acknowledge that I had a problem. And it wasn't a Matt problem. It wasn't, a job problem. It was an Amy problem.
Right.
And the drinking was just a symptom of what really was going on inside. So I had to get honest with myself and figure out, what was going on inside of my head that I would use alcohol as an escape that just led to problems. So it started with acceptance for me.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about now. We fast forward to now. You're working at the health department in the addiction program, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so I work with, supervise the peers there, and we have people there in the health department, the peer recovery advocates. I thoroughly enjoy working with them, for them, and delivering our services to the community. We're just a bunch of addicts, just like anybody else who's still sick and suffering, and we just spread our message of hope, and we spread our message of recovery, and we let people know that there is a softer, easier way. They don't have to live with pain and remorse and guilt anymore. And they just come in and we just have conversations with them. I think it's an awesome thing that the health department decided to do.
I think I would agree. And having worked at the health department, I saw the program get up and running.
Yeah.
And I know that for somebody who's been there, done that, those people can speak with a lot more authority to addicts who are trying to weave their way back to sobriety or cleanness.
Absolutely. I mean, you walk into any room and it's hard to get an understanding because you walk into a counselor who's never took a drink or a drug in their life. They didn't live like we did. They didn't think like we did. They don't feel like we felt. So it's hard for us to gain a certain level of rapport with individuals who just didn't live like we did. So that's what's so important about being a peer recovery advocate is we can walk into a room and say, I'm not fine either. You know, me too. I screwed up, I lied, I stole. If you read the book, which you have, yes. I mean, I was a mess. And I can have that lived experience. And I often say that, you know, degrees are great, but in this line of work, it's not necessarily a degree that's going to make you an expert. It's that lived experience to say, yes, I know exactly where you are, that hopeless feeling, because I've been there. Right. And that just makes a person feel so at ease. It did for me. When I had somebody talk to me on a real level, like, yeah, let's get honest, because me too. It's what I needed, and I know that other people need it too.
Others certainly do, because we have an epidemic going on, don't we?
We do. There is an epidemic right now in Cecil County. The drugs are rampant. The hopelessness is rampant, and I think that we have a moral obligation in our county and as human beings to spread some hope around and to get our stories and our testimonies and our experiences out. If one person reads my book and gets it in their head that maybe, just maybe, they have a fighting chance in this world and that all hope isn't lost, then the book's done its job. I feel as though I've done mine.
How can people get your book, Amy?
They can go, you can go to mattandamyb.com. It's our website. Amazon carries the book. Barnes & Noble carries the book. Google it, you can get it through any department store. I think Walmart carries the book. And
again, I recommend it. Right. It's a good book. It brought some insight into my life. I enjoyed it. It was an interesting read, entertaining even. I hate to say that your troubles that you're going through were entertaining, but it was.
Well, it's definitely a page turner. You know, I'm working on our second book right now, and I'm not collaborating with my husband on this one, and instead, I decided to look at addiction a step further. The book's called Hope Dealer, and it breaks down the process of recovery. And not all individuals go through a 12-step model of recovery. Some do, you know, secular models of recovery, non-faith-based. So I really break it down, and I have some stories of other individuals using these certain pathways to recovery and how that's working for them. Because I really believe that you know, the dealer, there's a lot of diversity in the word dealer, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. We can deal some hope too. So.
Well, that's good, and it sounds like hope, faith, and forgiveness is the key.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, your new book, does it have a title?
Yes, Hope Dealer.
Hope Dealer. Yeah. Okay, so, and you also have a foundation, you and Matt.
We do. So Matt and I just started. It's really early in the beginning workings of development. It's the Forgive Foundation, and what we wanted to do is we found a lot of adversity to individuals that I've met or individuals that I spoke to who have insurance, but their insurance won't necessarily cover for the full length of stay that a person really needs to make the shift and to get started the right way on a path to recovery. So what we aim to do, and we hope that we're moving forward in doing, is providing funds for these individuals who either their insurance has run out, they're a couple days short of a full stay, a 90-day stay or a 60-day stay into the recovery, because you don't recover in 20 days. I mean, I believe it's 21 days to make or break a habit.
Right.
So if a person needs 21 days to quit biting their nails, they're certainly going to need a little more time to change their life. So what Forgive Foundation is, we are in the process of making it a nonprofit, a 501c3, and these funds will just go and help these families. I mean, keeping families intact is our message, because everybody needs their mother, as my children needed me. So we're hoping that this can be a step forward to that.
And addiction really is a family disease.
It is a family disease. Everyone's affected. It's not. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't skip a generation. It really is.
Well, chances are, Amy, if folks are in a family, they're probably touched by addiction, and I hope you pick up the book, and I know you do as well, because it helps your foundation and helps others.
Yes, it does. It does.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Pleasure.
Welcome our next guest, Andrew Mitchell from Milburn Stone Theater. Andrew, welcome to Cecil.tv.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've got lots to talk about. I know a new show, your work with the used to be the Cover Bridge Theater, now it's Milburn Stone.
Yep, absolutely.
You are marketing director?
I'm the director of marketing for the Milburn Stone Theater. I also direct, I act, I wear lots of hats. We all do at the theater. So, absolutely. You know, we do a little bit of everything at the Milburn Stone Theater.
And for those of our viewers who don't know, the Milburn Stone Theater is at the northeast branch of Cecil College.
We're on main campus, right at 1 Seahawk Drive. So, you can't miss us if you're traveling down the road. We're right there.
So tell us about your upcoming production.
Well, our show we have opening Friday, February 10th, is a gigantic rock musical called Rock of Ages, named after the Def Leppard song. So Rock of Ages, everybody knows, or at least people might know, that there's a movie version of Rock of Ages, but there's also a very different stage production of Rock of Ages. And that's what we're doing. So when you come to the Milburn Stone Theater between February 10th to February 19th, you're going to see a lot of big rock and roll acts on a big stage with big lights and big sound. So
that sounds pretty spectacular. Now,
absolutely.
Is there a storyline, or is it going to be more than just music?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole story. It is funny at times. It's also, you know, with everything, you get a little bit of heartbreak. You get a love triangle that happens within the show. You also get, you know, larger than life funny characters. You get kind of inappropriate dialogue at times, but, you know, sometimes you want that in a big rock show. But most importantly, you do get these big, gigantic rock numbers performed on stage by a super talented cast. And it's everything from Bon Jovi to Whitesnake to Twisted Sister to even Journey. So, you know, you've got, if you went and lived through the 80s, you're going to remember and you're going to love and you're going to just, you know, you're going to just go over the moon with these songs. So,
well, I know, having lived through the 80s.
Okay, absolutely.
And played music in different bands. Anybody who can sing Journey, they got that going on.
We don't just have one person that can sing Journey. We have a cast that can sing Journey. You know, we don't have just one person that can sing Bon Jovi. We've got a cast that sings Bon Jovi. So there's a lot of fantastic numbers. I mean, I was just listening a couple days ago to the cast doing Sister Christian. So that was also a big treat. And if you like that song, you're going to love what we do with Rock of Ages.
That sounds great. What other productions, Andrew, are coming up for Milburn Stone?
Sure. So we close Rock of Ages on the 19th, and then in April we have we can officially announce it now. We were under a gag order of sorts, but now we can officially announce that we're doing Mary Poppins. We're doing Disney and Cameron Mackintosh's Mary Poppins for 2 weekends with 9 performances this April. It goes basically right up until Easter. So it's going to be a great show to get people out, families to come see it. Mary Poppins will fly because we do not skimp at the Milburn Stone Theater. Mary Poppins will go up. You will still see that spoonful of sugar happening. You know, Shimshimmery will be occurring all over many a rooftop with Bert. It's going to be a fantastic night at the theater. Then after that, because we can't stop ourselves, and nor should we have Singing in the Rain opening in June, which is going to be, there'll be lots of singing. There'll be lots of dancing, and oh yes, there will be rain.
I hear you marketing that, but aren't you also directing it?
I also am directing Singing in the Rain, and I have a truly fantastic choreographer, Joe Francisco, who has been tapping and dancing all around the tri-state areas for years, and I'm lucky enough to have him as my choreographer for that. And he's already doing tap workshops to get people ready for it, so I'm already excited to see what he's going to do with that show. Then we're doing in August, we have 2 shows in August. We have a sweet but kind of melancholy 2-person musical called Last 5 Years, which is written by Jason Robert Brown. He's well known for his musical Parade. He's also known for his, he did the musical Bridges of Madison County, which was on Broadway a couple years ago.
Right.
But last 5 years, it's a personal telling that it's a musical that he wrote basically about himself and his relationship with his now ex-wife. So that's I don't want to say it's an uplifting show, but it's a very important show. And then later in August, going through September, Hairspray. Not the Broadway musical, as we call it, the Baltimore musical. So
The Baltimore musical.
absolutely.
And you should inform our viewers that the Milburn Stone Theater is the largest venue between Wilmington and Baltimore.
Absolutely. We've got 450 seats between Wilmington and Baltimore. You won't find a bigger house. So that's something exciting for us. So that way we can do these bigger shows where we can get larger audiences, where we can have bigger casts. So that way people can, they're not used to just seeing, smaller productions. You can see really big, larger than life shows, which is something that we kind of, I believe, have cornered the market on for the area. Is that if you want to see a big show, come to the Milburn Stone Theater.
And I've been there. I've seen Rocky Horror, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and
Yes, absolutely.
some 10-minute shorts,
Sure.
which I thoroughly enjoyed. And it's just really a nice venue. You could sit in a comfortable chair. You're right there where the action is, and I think our viewers should check out Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages.
Coming up soon.
February 10th through the 19th. Tickets are $20 for adults, $15 for student or seniors, and then, normally it would be $10 for children 12 or under, but we're not encouraging kids to see this exact production. We're saving them for Mary Poppins because there are some questionable things that happen in the show between mostly dialogue. Sure. So maybe this is the show that you get a babysitter for.
Yes.
And then bring them back for Mary Poppins and bring them back for Singing in the Rain and Hairspray. And we also have another big show that we can't announce until June that will be perfect for all ages. So we can't wait to announce that. Unfortunately, we can't tell you about it until June, but once we do, people will be lining up.
Well, it sounds, Andrew, that you guys keep pretty busy because when you shut down one show, you're probably, while that show's going on, you're probably already building the sets and
Absolutely.
everything.
That's the circle of life for theater. You open up a show, you close a show, and then you get ready to open up another show.
The show must go on.
Absolutely. Can't stop it. Just like with Hairspray, can't stop the beat.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.